Welcome in, everyone. Now, if you're on the clinical front lines, I'm willing to bet you're feeling pretty overwhelmed right now by that endless mountain of charting, data entry, and just general administrative tasks that completely eat away at the time you'd actually like to spend with your patients. Well, you are in the exact right place. Today's explainer is designed specifically for you. We are going to dive straight into the source material to see exactly how artificial intelligence is stepping up to act as your new clinical co-pilot. And to be clear, this is a tool designed absolutely not to replace you, but to massively reduce your daily administrative burdens and actually help you improve patient outcomes.
So, here is our quick roadmap for today. We'll be breaking down 6 specific AI models reshaping healthcare. We'll start with the engines of next-gen medicine, move through forecasting and diagnosing, look at optimizing treatment and monitoring, talk about unlocking insights to reduce your burden, and finally wrap up with building precision medicine.
All right, Section 1, Engines of Next-Gen Medicine. Let's get right into it.
As our source highlights, there are essentially 6 core AI noils serving as the real engines driving precision medicine and operational efficiency across the entire healthcare ecosystem. We've got predictive, diagnostic, treatment recommendation, monitoring and alert, NLP for clinical text, and generative models. Honestly, you can just think of these as 6 highly specialized assistants. They leverage predictive analytics and generative capabilities, all working quietly in the background to help you deliver personalized care.
Moving on to Section 2, Forecasting and Diagnosing.
So the first engine here is the predictive model. Think of this as your clinical weather forecast, right? Just like a meteorologist analyzes tons of atmospheric data to warn you of a coming storm, these models analyze patient data to forecast disease risks, predict patient outcomes, and even anticipate hospital resource requirements. The system essentially collects and cleans patient data, targets a prediction, trains the model, and boom, it outputs a risk forecast to support your clinical decisions long before a situation actually becomes an emergency. Next up, we have diagnostic models. These operate a lot like a highly advanced spell checker, but for medicine. You know how a spell checker highlights potential typos in a document for you to review? Well, these models are specialized in analyzing medical images and clinical data to tee up a faster, much more accurate diagnosis. They absolutely don't write the final diagnosis for you, but they draw your eye exactly to where it needs to be.
Let's actually follow a patient's diagnostic journey for a second. Say a patient gets an X-ray for a really complex fracture. Step 1 inputs that image. In Step 2, the system extracts complex visual features using what's called a convolutional neural network, which is essentially just a pattern recognition system mimicking the human visual cortex. Step 3 classifies the potential fractures. And then Step 4 surfaces these insights, perfectly teeing up the radiologist to make that final expert judgment.
Section 3, Optimizing Treatment and Monitoring.
Okay. Enter treatment recommendation models. These act just like the GPS routing system in your car, but for medical therapy. I mean, you wouldn't drive into complex, unfamiliar traffic without a GPS checking all the alternative routes, would you? These models encode a patient's specific history and electronic health record data, learn the patterns, and then recommend and rank the absolute most effective therapies. They even explain the options. But just like with a GPS, you're still the one behind the wheel. The clinician reviews the recommendations and finalizes the treatment plan based on their holistic view of the patient.
Meanwhile, monitoring and alert models serve as your digital smoke detector. Once a patient is under your care, these systems process streaming data in real time, constantly hunting for dangerous trends. The very second a threshold is crossed, the alarm sounds. It instantly notifies the care team so you can take immediate action, ensuring timely medical interventions when, honestly, every single second counts.
Section 4, Unlocking Insights, Reducing Burden.
I want you to be honest with yourself for a second here. How much of your shift is eaten up just deciphering messy clinical text, navigating clunky EHRs, and managing documentation instead of actually treating your patients? Yeah. For most clinicians, the answer is way too much. Well, this is exactly where our 5th engine comes to the rescue, NLP, or Natural Language Processing, for clinical text models. Think of NLP as your tireless speed-reading assistant. It takes in messy clinical text, cleans it, and tokenizes it, which really just means it breaks those messy paragraphs down into digestible little pieces of data. Then it extracts the key information. It generally understands the context of what was written, classifies or summarizes it, and generates actionable insights to directly support your clinical decisions. Basically, NLP takes that overwhelming, unstructured pile of raw clinical notes and fragmented EHR entries and instantly transforms it into clean, structured clinical support insights. So you don't have to go digging through endless paragraphs of text to find a patient's allergy or a past medication reaction. The NLP model just surfaces it right up for you.
And building directly on that, we have generative AI models. Now, while NLP extracts information, generative AI actively creates it. These models are powering a whole new wave of documentation and innovation by supporting medical content generation, drafting patient communications, and handling all that heavy administrative documentation that bogs you down.
The workflow here is actually incredibly straightforward. You just input a basic prompt, and the model drafts the post-visit summary or the discharge instructions. You then simply review it, validate it, and customize it for the patient's specific context. By providing these clinical insights and supporting patient education and documentation, these generative models massively speed up your workflow and ultimately improve the entire care experience. It's a total game changer.
Finally, Section 5, Building Precision Medicine.
Look, by adopting these 6 models, predictive, diagnostic, treatment, monitoring, NLP, and generative, healthcare organizations aren't just saving a few minutes of charting today. They are literally laying the essential building blocks for true precision medicine. They are streamlining incredibly complex operational workflows so that delivering highly personalized, pinpoint-accurate care becomes the everyday standard, not just a rare exception.
As our source material explicitly points out, from predictive analytics to generative AI, healthcare organizations are leveraging these specialized models to enhance outcomes, streamline workflows, and deliver personalized care. This is a complete paradigm shift across the entire healthcare ecosystem. It enhances operational efficiency and completely elevates the patient experience from the second they walk through your doors to the moment they are safely discharged.
So, I want to leave you with this final kind of provocative thought. We all know that clinical burnout is very, very real. But when AI acts as your reliable co-pilot, when it takes on all that data processing, the spell checking of images, the GPS routing of treatments, and the speed reading of messy notes, it absolutely crushes your administrative burden. So the real question is, how will you and your team use the precious time you get back to push the boundaries of patient care and transform lives? Something to think about. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.